Hello, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast here on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I am joined by the ever-so-lovely, the multi-talented, the one everyone loves.
Well, you're not lying, and that's James the Wildcard.
How's it going?
Not bad. I actually, I was able to get some painting done the other day, which is a rarity. So I got that scabrous fish thing done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You should be posting pictures.
I can't take a good picture right now with them. I'm trying to figure out how, because I don't have a light box.
Look at my video on how to take pictures.
Yeah, it doesn't work with my cell phone camera. It's just not working out, because the lighting situation for me is terrible, because the way it's set up, even though I got nice white bulbs, fluorescent bulbs, the way the apartment is, the coverings of the light are the 1970s aged yellow. So it's like, ew. And I don't have a mobile light source at the moment, but I'll get something up. And I got whatever the barge thing from Tomb Kings are called. The Thing of Gold, I'll call it.
The Thing of Gold.
I got that base coated and stuff, working on things. And it was nice. I mean, scabrous. It was
lovely.
It was interesting to paint, fun to paint, in a sense. But I kind of see why the models look fine. And you have to understand we're talking about painting a gigantic ship here, but it's small, but it represents something big. But piecing scabrous together was a pain.
Was it? Hello?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was a pain.
It was?
Yeah.
Why was it a pain?
Because, well, you would have to... First off, you got to paint his base separate.
Yeah.
Because he's got innards in there you want to paint. And since he's one of the few you see through, you want to make sure you get that painted. His two halves you need to put together.
Huh?
And in reality, you kind of want to at least get the two halves put together and painted and then put it on the base. But what the heck was that?
Oh, sorry. Some stupid stuff, and apparently I'm using the wrong microphone.
Oh, because it sounded like somebody went...
Yes. Yes, someone did go...
But, this is why I only have one microphone.
Well, I only have one microphone, but the video thing never uses it.
Weird. But,
yep.
Scabrous' midsection, well, I hesitate to call it a midsection, but the middle of them is where the two-tiered cannon lightning emitter things go.
Yes.
And then a flag goes through the middle. And if you paint those before putting them together, it's really weird, because you either got to put Scabrous together completely off the base, and then paint them up as best you can, and then put them, like, basically what I did is I painted him, I put his body together, I painted that off the base, and then I painted everything else that was separate, which is three other pieces, separately. And I had to essentially clip the flagpole. It's supposed to go all the way down to his base, but the one isn't going to fit at all because of the paint, and it doesn't line up that well. So I had to clip it so it just fits into the top part, and sits in there securely, and it sits. I mean, you can't tell anything, but it was just a nightmare also because the parts are very, like, they flex a lot, so you want to be careful. Like, that's how I discovered I should probably clip the flag and put it in it, because when I tried to put it in, the flag decided to bend 90 degrees. I'm like, you're not supposed to do that. So that was a pain. And the Tomb King's vessel, though, went together very easily, and I probably shouldn't have fully assembled it. I left the pyramid off, but I probably shouldn't have fully assembled it before base coating it to get a better thing at the big obsidian statues on it. But it'll be able to paint just fine. But that thing is loads more, compliant with putting it together than Scabrous was. So that's the pain of Scabrous. At least for me, it was a pain. I kind of see why maybe people weren't a big fan of these models in terms of putting them together, at least with Scabrous. Because you try to do the sensible thing, because especially with him, you could see into himself. that you want to paint everything before putting it together. Then when you do, it doesn't quite fit right.
So what you're saying is you love it.
Yes, that's exactly what you should gather out of what I just stated.
I shall.
And I did that, and just for further nerdism, I'm playing a lot of MechWarrior Online.
Awesome.
It's free to play. People should play it. It's fun. End of my story.
I could never master that game. I always just it's like, go, yeah, dead.
Well, what's interesting now is it's basically 12-on-12 now. And I think it was 8-on-8 before. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But
it matters to me.
What they have introduced, for anybody who's never played it, and since I was a tester and everything like that with it, back before there was no way to figure out the controls except for just jumping into a battle and getting horribly destroyed. Now they have a tutorial thing, which is really just for movement, which is all that matters, because shooting is as easy as pointing and clicking. So they each had to move and turn your torso and whatnot in a little tutorial game. And it's just you, and there's nothing else to hurt you. You can just move around, do whatever you want once it's over. And then they have testing grounds. So if let's say you buy a mech or you configure it a certain way, you can test out how it works, how much heat it generates, on what map and whatnot, because the maps affect heat. And, is this really good, or is putting 27 machine guns on your assault mech the dumbest idea ever? Stuff like that.
The answer?
The answer is epic, but it's cool because it gives you a chance to also get a feel. They have dummy targets that are actual mechs that are actually have the they don't fight back, but they have the full armor and everything, so you can see how long it takes for you to whittle something down, let's say, with a certain build. So that also gives you time to give you some seat time and get used to the controls a little bit. So it's fun. It suffers from what MechWarrior's always suffered from in multiplayer, and that is missile boats, where it's just nothing but a million missiles. And the only issue I have with MechWarrior Online, really, because the missile boats are whatever. Some mechs are purposely set up that way, and that's fine. But when people build mechs just to have like 47,000 missiles hit you,
yeah,
it's a pain. But it's a weakness on their own. They're ammunition dependent, and you can outrun it and do stuff. So it's not that big of a deal. My issue is the scaling a little bit. Because, you look at certain things, and these are all mechs. These are all supposed to be big things you sit in and you strap into and you ride around in a walking nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
The light mechs are really tiny. Now, they always are supposed to be smaller in frame than an assault mech. A 100-ton mech is going to be bigger because you got to put 100 tons worth of stuff on it than a 20-ton mech. But these guys are like, to put it into perspective, you played GoldenEye N64?
Yep.
Remember?
Odd Job?
Yeah, it's like fighting against Odd Job. It's like Odd Job. And the thing is, in comparison to, since I'm an avid MechWarrior player, light mechs never been that tiny. They've been that fast and maneuverable, but they've always been a little bit big to convey that it's a walking machine. These things, they seem a little bit too small. But you hit it like twice with a big weapon, and it's like, oh, my living. So it doesn't matter. But that's just my really big complaint with it. That, and you can have people do the tactic of legging you. But it's just...
Yeah.
Which, it's like World of Tanks, only you walk around, and it's a lot... You got lasers.
Yes.
And I find it more fun that way. But I've been doing that, and I've been reading more up on BattleTech, the manager game, to try and learn it yet again. And that's fun. But, that's that, and I will have to say, though, because, we play 40K.
Yep.
We've been known to.
We sometimes do. We don't always.
Not always. And then we've done, like, BFG.
Which is great.
Yeah, and you've done War Machine.
Yep.
Because I haven't.
I've done a little Infinity.
I can't know for certain for, like, Infinity, because I've literally never seen it played. But... There's always been an issue with games where it's like, I wish this would be, the fluff is, like, the biggest example, Space Marines. The fluff alone on a Space Marine, especially when in the Codex it describes how they have, like, their helmet can cycle through different fields of vision. It's like, well, why can't they see at night in a game?
Yeah.
Like, the fluff never meets the models, for
like
obvious reasons.
Like the Taus can and such.
Yeah.
Or like the Eldar are like, wait a minute, they can read your minds. How can they not know where you are?
Right? So it's like... I get it at one extent, because it would be really next to impossible to balance or make them seem fair at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have such cool fluff, you want your models to feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've always liked about the Battletech Manager game, even though I can't play it in full, I can just do a quick start at the moment. They feel like the fluff. Like, this is a walking mech that can level city blocks and is the superior. Even the lightest of mechs is more than a match for, like, most tanks and infantry. And they feel like the fluff. Like, you could fire at it and you can rip the thing's arm off and it keeps coming. And the same thing with when you play it. So the one thing that's attractive to me aside from liking that genre, is that when you learn about the fluff of these mechs, and the Atlas is this huge, just walking monstrosity, 100 tons. It has as much armor on it as the weight of most light mechs. So, it can take a beating and keep on eating. And it feels that way when it's played in the game. Like, it's not like, oh, this thing's awesome, and then you play in the game and it's mediocre at best. Like, it actually feels like the fluff make it out to be.
Yeah.
And I like that about the Manager game a lot. I'm sure, I'm not saying games don't do that, and I'm not saying this is the only game that feel like it. I think it does. I think it's one of the games that get closest to that feel.
The only other game that I feel gets closest to the feeling of how awesome and epic the stuff was BFG.
Yeah.
Because, when you went against Necrons, it was, oh, crap, it's Necrons.
And if you went against Necrons as Eldar, you're like, I'll just leave now.
You're just like, yeah, so it actually felt like you were playing against those armies.
Right,
and even against Eldar, you're like, ah, crap, now I have to go catch them.
Yeah, right. Stop running, you cowards.
Stop exploding, you cowards.
Exactly. And all of the war games feel a certain percentage towards their fluff. Like, Space Marine feels like a Space Marine, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really capture the fluff. Especially when you read the novels, and it's like, and then he ripped through the building with his bare hands, basically.
Yeah.
And then you play the game, and it's like, why can't I? Don't get me wrong, Space Marine model-wise against other stuff in the range is good, but for being close, BFG does it. You're right, and I really feel Battletech gets almost like spot on. It has the heat generation, it's got the armor, they feel heavy by movement and stuff, and it's just, that's what, I don't know about other war gamers, but I really like, when I like a fluff or something, I like to feel like I'm emulating that fluff, So that was cool.
Now, there's two things I want to discuss today. First is a really long topic, I think, or it may go into a very lengthy discussion. So I want to bring up this first thing, really short thing, quick, and that is how about that Lehman Russ incinerator tank?
It's cool.
I think I found my new executioner model because it looks so awesome.
No, it does look cool. It's
just like, oh, that thing looks so pretty, and you can totally make that look like a very old or new age exterminator, whatever the stupid plasma cannon is called.
Oh yeah, I don't know. There's like 47 Lehman Russ names. I have no idea.
Yep, the executioner.
There we go.
Cannon. There we go.
Because I think it's Terminator or something else too, right? Isn't it like also a model of tank? Like
something like that. And this one's the incinerator. It incinerates.
I would hope so. It's in the name.
So, in fact, it only shoots bullets, and they do the opposite of incinerate.
they put fire out, actually.
But it looks really, really beautiful, and I'm happy. And the new veteran squads look pretty ballin'. Though, to be honest, I can't tell the difference between them and the regular dudes.
Me either. I think it's the weapons that they have.
Probably.
But or the weapon capability they can have, but they look just like other Solar Auxilia, which is cool.
Yep. And so, on to the topic of discussion here that I think we're going to be talking a bit about, or we may not. Who knows? It's a podcast. We don't know what we're doing until we do it. How about that new Star Wars trailer?
It's, here's the deal with this, teaser. I hesitate to call it a trailer because you really don't get any information out of it aside from, there's a movie coming. But overall, I like seeing Star Wars things, period. I'm a Star Wars nerd. You understand that plight. It's like, oh, it's Star Wars, watch it. It makes me really excited or looking forward to sitting in a movie theater for a different movie completely and seeing the official trailer on the big screen. It makes me excited for that. After that happens, then I'll get really excited for the movie, no matter what it is. Like Episode 3, I got excited regardless because it's Star Wars. But so I'm really looking forward to seeing an official trailer. The teaser was fine, but the funny thing about it, I think, is it felt like a really because I know nothing about the story. None of us do because it's not following the story that we used to know.
Yeah.
I know nothing about the story, so knowing nothing about the story, it kind of felt like a really well put together, polished fan film trailer.
To be honest, I thought it was a joke trailer that the Star Wars Facebook page was posting, going, watch the trailer again and again. And then that R2 unit goes on. I'm like, that's an R2 head on a soccer ball. Is this real?
That's what I thought. I'm like, is this when I saw that, it instantly gave me the feeling of, is this like a fan film thing?
Yeah, I thought it was a fan film trailer when I first saw that. I was like, no, this can't be real. But everyone's saying it's real.
Yeah, I mean, it seems as real as it can be. And you know what? I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
It just confused me what that was, period. That hit me out of nowhere. But I like what I saw. The troopers look awesome. It was great. It was great to see the Falcon flying around again. Yeah, and
only one lens flare. I must give JJ some props.
This is just a teaser. This is just a teaser. Everybody relax.
Well, I was expecting like a lens flare off the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Which speaking of, to all the haters out there, it's a fantasy film. It doesn't have to be super practical because a saber that cuts through anything is also kind of impractical when you're spinning it around yourself in figure eights.
Like the very concept of a lightsaber as it's used in Star Wars is highly impractical. This light broadsword is okay. I mean,
I like it. I think it looks cool.
Visually it's cool, but I just look at it and go, you don't need that.
Yeah, I understand the argument of, oh, you could easily slide down the blade and cut the thing off. Okay, yeah, I can understand that argument. But on the flip side, I don't think this dude is dumb enough to go, oh, you're going to cut off my handguard, I better just let you do that. I think he would be like, no, let me twist this so you hit the lightsaber blade instead,
but it's
type
just,
of thing.
I mean, even without dumb enough, it just makes me... What I'm more curious about is what incident happened that went, we need a handguard on our lightsaber, because it never needed it before. So I want to know what happened that caused the need.
One thing I was thinking is, it's called, like, the Force Awakens, and the trailer's like, do you feel that type of thing?
Yeah.
So it's clearly some, like, old, ancient Sith type of thing, or at least that's what I'm getting from it. And if you look at the lightsaber, it's kind of flickery and not as crisp or clean as a traditional lightsaber. So I'm thinking that's an old-school lightsaber, and then later the Jedi went, why do we need this stupid handguard anyway?
It could be that. It could be some type of new tech where it's very strong but maybe slightly unstable. Like, cause as typical.
Yeah.
Or it could just be done that way to look evil.
Yeah.
It's red. Again, also... It's red and it looks jagged. It's evil. But,
and also with everyone going like, you can't do any fancy twirls because you'd cut your hand off. And it's like, have you ever used a sword with the handguard? Because if that were true, we'd be dropping swords every time we spun them.
Well, no, we wouldn't. It's a completely valid statement because the handguard, when it touches your hand when you spin it, and a normal sword can't cut your hand off instantly.
Yes, but it also, in some of the cases with some of the way people spin them, if you hit yourself with your handguard, you're going to drop your sword because you just hit yourself.
Well, there's a difference between dropping... I mean, there's a difference between that, and that would you have to be really clumsy spinning, but there's a difference between having to, like, spin it and hit it at an awkward angle or it falls out your hand, which really be hard to do, and the difference between grazing the light blade of death. I mean, yes, you can say he's a trained dude, but it really does remove some of the really cool stuff we're used to seeing.
It'll remove the katana, like, Highlander, like, the Jedi stuff we've been seeing.
Well, the typical Jedi fights, but it's just like the double-bladed lightsaber required different flair.
Yeah.
Because you can't get it as close to you because it's a double-bladed lightsaber.
Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of, like, the, like, Robin Hood-y, medieval-y movies that we've seen have been trying desperately to do, like, Jedi-like lightsaber fighting lately. So we'll just get something like that instead, which
it's going to have its own... I mean,
I put
the hierarchy of light... Or not the hierarchy. I put the lightsaber in this category. It's a lightsaber. It's impractical to begin with. Now we're going to spin it like it's a little toy, make it super impractical. It's a double-bladed lightsaber.
Yeah.
We're going to double the impracticality by having a beam of death on both sides, but we're going to then, but
if anything, it makes it cool because now he can hit people with the guard and kill people.
Right, but it's just like with the double-bladed lightsaber, now we're going to make it doubly impractical and remove like half of the flariness we used to have with a single-bladed lightsaber. But we're going
unless Ray Park is playing.
Even with him playing it, especially him playing it, because it's completely different what he did to flare it up. You can't.
Yeah.
What he did, you wouldn't do with a regular lightsaber. A, you don't have the length like he did to do it. B, you can't do the normal stuff because you cut yourself with the other half. And this is just in that same category of, okay, we're going to remove certain flair, but we're going to replace it with equally impractical flair.
Yep.
People forget the art of lightsaber combat is 95% impracticality.
Yes. If you really try and fight the way lightsabers do, it would be really like it's all they suffer again from like crowd syndrome. They're blocking all the lights, all the blaster shots in front of them, but the dude behind them just has to fire one shot and he's dead.
Yeah,
because
he's too busy. He can sense it and block.
Because he's too busy blocking everything in front of him, type of thing.
Well, not even that. What makes it? I mean, don't get me wrong. Lightsaber combat, I love watching. It doesn't matter.
It looks beautiful.
But one-on-one lightsaber combat is like 50%. Let's just spin our blades around ourselves and not even worry about the opponent.
Yeah.
It's like, who gets a cooler trick, and then we'll make a strike a few times, then we'll do more ridiculous tricks, throw the lightsaber in the air and juggle it, why not? And then we're going to come back and fight each other. It's kind of like you got served. It's like dancing. It's like, all right, I'm going to spin.
Dropped.
No, you spin.
He just mic dropped. He just mic dropped. That's kind of like, that's also like, and plus, it's kind of a tradition with lightsaber battling, if you kind of think of it, because in the original trilogy, it was very kendo-style fighting with the lightsabers.
Break the sword.
Yeah, but even still, again, it was very Japanesey. Now it went into baton twirling. Now with this new lightsaber, we're going to get a new form of lightsaber combat.
Yeah, it's going to be like axe throwing, only with a broadsword.
Hey. I'm sure there were dwarf-like Jedi at one point.
Yeah, there's a million races in that galaxy, but no, it's just like
Ewok Jedi.
If you don't like the look of it, you don't like the look of it. But to say it's
impractical,
to say that is absolutely true. But to say it's any more impractical than a beam of, or any more impractical or unfeasible than a sword with a beam of light that curves back on itself is ridiculous.
Yes, for those who don't know, the beam actually goes out, and when it hits its maximum point, it curves down and goes back into the lightsaber.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the
That's how it do.
Yeah, so, like, to say it's any more impractical than what a lightsaber is already is poppycock. Because it's just like, yeah, I mean, to some people, totally fine with it being kind of silly in some people's eyes. Fine.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a lightsaber. It's silly to begin with.
It is. But it doesn't change how awesome it is, because it's still awesome.
Exactly. And I'm glad the big thing I'm glad, just for that teaser, and I hope it stays away, we didn't get the Force Unleashed syndrome with holding the lightsaber all awesomely, but really dumbly. I always got to hold it with the sword down and run around like I'm
I liked how it was very much a he drew it type of thing.
Right.
Which it was a stereotypical how someone would hold a sword after they pulled it out of their sheath.
Yeah, exactly. It's just... I mean, the bottom line is this. It's Star Wars. It's a Star Wars movie. It's going to come back on the big screen. And I don't know about you, but I've been missing Star Wars in the big screen. You know what I mean? Just something about seeing the scrolling of text on that big screen.
And the long time ago, in the galaxy far, far away.
And the fanfare of music just surrounding you and just watching what's going to be a bunch of lens flare, I'm sure, but just watching.
Lens flares. That's all C-3PO is going to be. He's just going to be one giant lens flare.
Right, but just to watch Star Wars on the big screen, that's why I was really excited, and I'm sad they stopped it when Episode 1 came out in 3D.
I know. I was sitting there, that was one of these things. I went up to Phil and said, so did you hear about that? They're re-releasing episode 1 in 3D. And they're gonna do it to all 6 of them. And he went, that is the stupidest thing I ever heard. I'm like, I know, isn't it so stupid? Oh, why are they doing it? It's totally pointless. 3D is a gimmick. And blah 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 blah. And we ranted for like 10 minutes, and then we stopped. And then I turned to him and went, you gonna go with me to see it on opening day? And he went, yeah.
But he didn't.
Well, he did. Oh no, he didn't. Something came up that day, but still, the fact that we were all pissed that they were doing it and still went to see it anyway tells you something.
I wasn't even pissed that they were doing it. I was just like, please don't do something stupid with Jar Jar Binks. That's the only thing. The entire time, I was like, please don't do something stupid with his tongue. That's all I cared about.
Surprisingly, I was a little offended that he didn't add an extra scene into the film. Because I was sitting there going, wait a minute. You mean to tell me these prequels are perfect, like, your Holland's opus of films, and the originals are not? Damn it, every time these films came out, there was something new. 3D doesn't count.
I mean, just for that, I don't look at it that way in terms of being perfect, but I do agree. Every time a Star Wars film re-hits the theaters, something's got to change. Something's added. You get an extra at least 30 seconds to a minute of footage. So,
it's not that something has been re-CGI'd or something that wasn't CGI'd before. You know, something is different.
Or like just something added to the background.
Even that.
That would have been cool. But what I have to say, for anybody who didn't see it in theaters when it was in 3D, it did a really, you didn't really notice it much because it was all subtle stuff, but when you really noticed it was when they were in space. You got a sense of space.
Was so vast in the 3D screening.
It was. That alone was fantastic, and it could have not been in 3D. They could have just went, okay, limited release of Phantom Menace in theaters just cause. I'd be like, okay, I'm down. I mean, I was really hoping, I really wanted to see what they would have done with the 3D in episodes 2 and 3 and so on, and I was really upset that they stopped it. Yeah. And, because it not just be curiosity with it in 3D. I like Star Wars on the big screen
is great.
Is great. Like we're so nerd sounding right now, but I'm sure many people will agree to this. But it's just something about it being on the big screen. There's just something you can't really emulate it, no matter how big your TV is with 3D glasses or whatever.
And the super speakers
and all that. You can't emulate silver screen Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm not a religious person, but I'll go so far to say it's almost something spiritual about watching it on the big screen. To be as lame as that sounds, it is something about it. I mean, we can't be alone on this because look at the Star Wars phenomenon. Clearly, there's something special about it on the big screen.
Yep. And what I am kind of happy about that I did read, this is older news, but I did read that Disney has announced that they're working on a theatrical original release of the trilogy on Blu-ray.
That would be interesting.
So I was like, Blu-ray versions of the originals, that would be awesome. Because George won't give it to us.
But people who, there's always talk on the internet, now episode 7's coming out, it's like, great, every few years is it going to be Star Wars? And kind of like, bah humbug. And I'm like, great, every few years will be Star Wars. It's like...
my only concern with that is the story pieces in it, where I'm concerned that eventually the stories will get to the point where I will turn into one of those, a new Star Wars film, okay, type of thing.
Yeah,
and I hope that doesn't happen.
That could be a case with story, but the nice thing about it is, they could, if they want to do another trilogy, let's just put it out there, 7, 8, 9. If they do anything past that, they don't have to give it an episode anymore. They can do the Old Republic. They have so much stuff they can do that makes me not too worried about that, as long as they're willing to not just throw out everything that's been established already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like they already have. Kind of.
Yeah. Don't go back to the far distant past and go, Revan never existed. Stuff like that.
Revan.
Knights of the Republic never happened.
What's that guy?
Malik?
There was another dude. No. Started with a K, I think.
What are we talking about?
Another, evil Sith.
From what?
Dude. From the Old Republic area. I forget his name.
I know what you're talking about.
But he was like the super famous of all the Sith.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
And it was described like when he used the Force to like crush ships, it actually looked like people were seeing imprints of hands as the ship was being crushed because that's how powerful he was in the Force type of thing.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about the guy, but there was a lot of old Sith named and stuff.
Yeah,
visited the planet.
Find out.
He visited Korriban, so I mean,
I'm gonna find out the list of famous Sith.
But it's just that as long as they don't just absolutely wash everything out, there's plenty of stuff they could draw on, which would be fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just I like seeing Star Wars on the big screen. It's one of those things that it's just cool. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
And I think one little teaser, a little bit over a minute long, isn't enough to make judgment yet.
Yeah.
You really have to reserve judgment until you see it.
But I have to say, like, I was really won over by the whole, when I saw the Falcon again, because that part was awesome.
Well,
just watch it go through, and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Well, the Falcon's cool. I mean, it's the Falcon.
Yeah.
What do you want?
The Falcon of the Falcon.
Yeah. But, it's cool. I'm looking forward to it, and that's really, I mean, I have nothing else to say about it because I don't know anything about the movie.
Or do we? Do we have any secret, super hidden knowledge?
No.
Oh.
Not even close.
I thought we did.
No. So yeah, that's that. So, being that I was, playing MechWarrior Online recently, I got to thinking. I'm watching stuff. There's lots of cool games that we played in our past, right?
Yeah.
So, what game or games would you like to see done with modern, like not changed storyline wise, just cleaned up in terms of they were buggy, polished and updated with today's graphics?
A game repolished with today's graphics.
Yeah, like, this was a great game, but it's such a pain to run on a new system, or it's a great game, but it's just old.
I would do
as many as you want.
See. There's a couple. One would be the original Super Godzilla for the Super NES. I would like to see that in modern day, especially with like the new Godzilla model that they made in the new American version, because he was pretty ballin'. The original Deus Ex.
I agree with that one.
And to be honest, I'd kind of like to see the original Far Cry.
All right. It's fair.
Those would be the ones that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, I agree with the Deus Ex, especially if they did it like Human Revolution. Like the same skill tree setup instead of doing what they had, which was kind of clumsy.
Which was just buy a skill.
Yeah. That would be cool. So I agree with that. I would like to see the MechWarrior 2, the whole Titanium trilogy, as they called it, which is MechWarrior 2, MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries, MechWarrior 2 Ghost Bear's Legacy. Because it had a great story, a good supply of mechs, and the missions were fun. It's next to impossible to run on a Windows 7 machine unless you have a virtual PC. Yeah. Even then, it's still buggy to run. So I would like to see it for that reason. Or any of the MechWarrior games was redone with MechWarrior Online graphics.
Right, and also I forgot the Zone of the Ender series I'd like to be seen with today's
That would
graphics.
be cool. That would be cool.
That game was awesome. And when will they give us a third one? He keeps promising it and he never delivers. You hear that, Mr. Konami? Give us my third game, then I'll buy a PS4.
But
only then.
And what I'd also like to see, and Half-Life Source doesn't count, but the original Half-Life in full-on Half-Life 2. I mean, it's kind of like that with Half-Life Source, but to step it up a notch.
I actually just realized something now when you mentioned that.
What?
There was it was Black Friday weekend this past weekend.
Yes.
And I had everybody asking me which ones, blah, blah, blah. They're like they were asking for the second Apple product and everything. And they kept going, it doesn't say Apple II on this. And I'm like, no, actually, Apple doesn't believe in the word 2. They always skip 2 and just move on to 3. everyone else calls their products the 2. And then I just was reminded of Half-Life and how they can't count past 2.
Yeah, they can't count past 2. They're the opposite of Apple.
Yep. I was like, oh, they can't pass. Right, they're just like Valve. They can there's a number that eludes them.
And it's funny because I want Half-Life 3 or Episode 3, whatever they're gonna call it. I want it, but it's never gonna happen. I mean, it'll happen. Just give it 10 years.
Someone, there's this Honest Games trailer for Portal 2.
Yeah.
And he goes, wait a minute, Portal is 6 letters, and 2, you divide that by 2, it's 3. Half-Life 3 confirmed, people! Half-Life 3 confirmed!
There's plenty of stuff to kind of confirm it, and they've been working on it. It's just that, it's like they're working on it like molasses.
Yes. They're like, whenever they're bored for a day.
Yeah. I mean, and there are other games...
Just for a day.
Yeah, and there are other games that I'd like to see repolished. But one thing, for the sheer fun of it, as long as they keep the original soundtrack, is Buck Bumble from Nintendo 64.
Buck Bumble.
Yes. It has one of the most ridiculous plots ever for like a stupid game out of nowhere, and it's basically you're a bee, but you're not just any bee. Okay.
You're Buck Bumble.
You are Buck Bumble, but here's the deal about Buck Bumble. The year is 2010, basically, and the game takes place in England, in London. Near London, and a chemical spill happens, and the insects in the surrounding areas are mutated, right? And these mutated insects just come together and become the evil force, this thing that's bent on taking over. And the way the game describes it, they're bent on taking over the garden and eventually the whole world. So that's a really big jump from Garden.
Yeah. I just pulled out the title screen theme because it's awesome.
And you play Buck Bumble. Now, you're a volunteer bumblebee that's implanted with cyborg technology. Now, this is some crazy stuff. That's really small technology. And you're part of the resistance trying to stop the evil army.
Oh, wow. I just realized who made that game.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Ubisoft.
Oh, they published it. Argonaut Games made it. But Ubisoft published it. And the concept of the game is fantastic because you got a bunch of evil insects that apparently humanity cannot stop. So we have to get a volunteer bumblebee that's implanted with cyborg technology to fight them.
Yep, it's the only way.
And I want to see that game in today's graphics.
That would be interesting.
It would be.
That is just a very interesting game.
It is. It was fun to play. And it's just funny. I just love the fact that the thing that made, aside from the soundtrack, the opening title track, which is great, the thing that really made me kind of go, you know what, that's cool, is the fact that it had a story. It had a plot that they actually put together.
It actually took time to figure out.
Exactly. But as you mentioned before, Black Friday here in the States, and other places that maybe do it. I don't know.
I believe London does it too. Because I saw videos of people trampling over each other and like this old lady being toppled over by TVs and this girl going, "Get! There's a cow there! Get out from under there!" Even though that's more of an Australian accent than a British accent.
We're not voice actors, people.
I am a little bit. But it was just like, so London does like something similar, but over in London, they do a little bit more blatantly than we do, which is we take the stuff they take the stuff that they're no longer carrying, and that's the only thing on sale.
Right.
Where here, we mix in a little bit of new and a little bit of old, so you don't realize that's what Black Friday is for. Right,
and also it's just a time when people are, deals are deals. I'm not denying it. Getting a good deal is getting a good deal. But
sadly, this year there wasn't that many great deals.
Right, but
you get better ones past Black Friday, to be honest.
You can in some situations, depending upon what you're looking for. But the point is like this is just a time when all the companies freely admit they're overcharging you by a lot.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I'm cool with that, but they're freely admitting they're overcharging you. Yeah, but look at the deal. Oh my God. But now, especially considering we're going to be entering December, really soon.
Yep. The cold weather.
Now it's completely okay for things to start getting Christmassy.
Yes.
Now it's officially okay. Not back in September when some stores already had it around me.
Yeah.
But now it's okay. Okay, Christmas. You get your. We're giving you up to from December 1st to your actual Christmas day. That's more than most anything else gets.
There was a meme going around, and I full-heartedly agreed, and I shared it. It was a turkey pointing at Santa Claus, going, "December, that's your holiday. Get your fat butt back on your sleigh and wait your turn."
It's true, and it's just like I'm not one to be like, yes, the whole idea of Thanksgiving, being thankful for what you have, and then immediately going out and trampling people to buy stuff you don't have, but is weird. But that aside, whatever. It's the fact that let things just happen. Can we have a minute just to let time just pass and do things appropriately, like celebrate certain holidays or things on the time they come, and not have to worry about Christmas in September?
Yep. You think it's sad? I knew some people who were buying stuff in August for Christmas.
I'm all well and good with buying. Now, it all depends. If you're going to start Christmas shopping in August, fantastic. If you know what you want to get somebody, you know they're never going to get it. Fine, get it done and over because I procrastinate, so it's better to get it done early in certain situations. If you can get a good deal on something, if they want a big TV and you know they're never going to get it by the time Christmas comes around, get it early if you find a good deal. All well and good, but don't start putting a Christmas decoration, ornaments, selling Christmas trees and stuff like that in September.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Like, I was in a wholesale store by me, and I walk in, it was September, and I was like, why are there two solid aisles of a lot of Christmas stuff? It's September. They didn't even have anything for Halloween up, and it was like mid-September. I'm like, no, you should be selling Halloween stuff right now.
There was a picture, I don't have it anymore, but it's a picture of Elena, and she's sitting in an aisle looking very perplexed because on her left side is Santa Clauses and snowmen, and on her right side are skulls.
It's the most metal Christmas ever.
It's a Christmas done by Death Clock.
Right? But it's just like, honestly, Christmas and Black Friday, I don't know about you. When we were younger, when we were kids, 90s and all that good stuff.
Yes, back in the day, we were children.
Yeah. Black Friday was a thing. It wasn't quite as popular as it is today. But even though it was still a thing, and it waited until Friday, and stores opened up at normal times.
The only exception was I believe, originally, with the Thanksgiving Day parade, Macy's would open for like an hour or something because the parade ended in front of Macy's, and it would open up the doors to Macy's for like an hour or something, and then that was it. Then they didn't open again until Friday or something like that.
Which is completely okay. It's your parade is ending at your store.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But like...
So it's getting a little ridiculous with Kmart and Radio Shack opening up at 6 in the morning on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Like, let Thanksgiving happen. I don't know about you or about most people, but I can practically guarantee if you have the stock of it and you open up at your normal operating hours on Black Friday, you will have plenty of people in there to clear you out.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like people are going, all right, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, everybody stop shopping, okay?
Yeah. Well, as a retail employee, as I get an echo from Elena over here, and saying stuff that I don't think she'd want me to repeat, so she better stop. It was actually very tame this time around. I think people are starting to realize this Black Friday thing is getting out of hand.
Well, it's not even just that. I mean, part of it, not really. You know what it is? They stepped up security ridiculous amounts.
Oh, not even just that. Like, in our store, like, it was no more crowded than it would have been on, like, a Sunday with a really good deal at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right, but my question, I don't know about your store, but I know some stores around me, they were open up all throughout Thanksgiving, so that helps it a little bit, I guess, for crowds. It's the lack of crowds, and there's more civility, I could deal with a crowded store, I've done it before, if people are acting civil. But the problem with Black Friday, and it really peaked around 2008 or so, when they really started cracking down with, like, SWAT teams everywhere.
Yeah, because of the one poor Walmart employee that got trampled to death. Yeah,
and they also nearly killed a cop who was trying to get the people away.
Yeah.
When you are that blinded by a sale to trample a police officer, you got a problem.
And here's the thing, the person that got trampled was not a thin person, so people didn't notice that they grew a good 2 feet at one point when they were walking, because they were just walking over this guy.
Yeah,
and then what was great is the people who were in on the trampling were like, the employees were so rude to us. They were like, get back, get back, get back. Yeah. I mean, how dare they?
You trampled somebody to death. You trampled somebody to death. I mean,
just killed a man. And what were you expecting?
I mean, and that was and still is a terrible tragedy, because you trampled somebody for 50% off an item. Fantastic. You must feel real good.
And half the time, people already own the item. It's 50% off, so we have to buy it.
Yeah, you know what else I saw a really good poster of? Is like, buying a TV at 50% off is not a deal when you just spent 50% of money to buy a TV. Like, you're not getting a sale. You just spent money to buy something you didn't even need, but it's got a good sale, so you bought it for the sake of sale.
There was this video film trailer for Black Friday.
Yeah.
And it's this girl sitting there in a window, and she goes, "Can't we just stay home?" And the husband's like, "But they have a 70-inch plasma screen TV, 50% off. Don't we already have one of those?" That's not the point.
It's 50%.
And then he kisses her on the forehead. I'm like, that's so how people act.
It is. And people will compare.
And then people get ticked when they're like, "Where's that doorbuster deal I saw in the ad that for $90?" And it was like, you mean the one that started yesterday at 6 in the morning and it's now 10 o'clock at night on Friday? Yeah, we're sold out. How could you sell out of such a good deal?
Because it's a good deal.
Because it's a good deal. People were here at 6 in the morning on Friday to get it.
Right.
That's why I'm sold out.
And the thing about Black Friday...
And then they get angry about it.
Oh, they do, because people flip on Black Friday. So if this isn't a big thing in certain cultures, like certain countries that listen to us, and I don't know what our statistic is.
I don't know who, I'm hoping, I'm at least hoping there's some place out there where Black Friday is not like this sacred holiday of shopping.
Right, I mean, it really is for really primarily America, Canada, a little bit, and apparently London.
On London, it seems like it's pretty bad.
For those of you that don't know, for whatever reason, maybe you just
or maybe you just ignore the day.
Maybe your parents are the smart people and go, "We must stay inside." Or
maybe you're one of those dudes that get like the 4-day weekend, like most jobs sometimes offer.
Yeah, or maybe you just, I know what I do. I go, it's Black Friday. I'm staying indoors. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm staying indoors.
Yep.
But for it really, at one point, I recommend people doing this if they can find a place to perch themselves, to just watch the big box stores on Black Friday, especially if they're the ones that are holding off opening until Black Friday happens.
Yep.
Just watch. It's going to be the closest you'll ever get to what a zombie apocalypse would be like, with zombies busting down a safe house door. Because you have it barricaded off. In some cases, police are there. And you just got these crowds growing at the door, practically pressing upon the door, going, "We want in, brains," right? You got all this happening. Not just one location, but a lot of locations. And then that magical hour, the doors open up, and it's just a floodgate of things to rip you apart to get a deal. It's as close as you're going to get to seeing actual zombies break into a place to kill people and eat them. It's the closest you're going to get.
It is very true.
And that's the sad part, and that's why a lot of people took like the Walking Dead posters and said the Black Friday, because it's just like that.
It is very, very true, because that's how people see this, and that's how people act sometimes.
It is, and it's even funnier because it's barricaded, and there's droves, there's mobs.
We use shopping carts to barricade our doors.
And it's just like, and I mean, and to get even a better perspective, if you were somehow allowed to either sit inside the store somewhere out of the way or put a camera up just to see them come in and be like, "Oh my God, it's zombies."
It's a flood, and we did like the new iPhone thing. We had our manager sitting in the front door clapping as people entered. Which one person posted a very interesting thing, and it was a picture of Black Friday and a new Apple iPhone release day, And it was, if we put this much effort we do into buying useless junk we don't need, that we do into, like, voting and elections, we'd have a lot of our government problems solved right now.
Solved or so much worse. But it's one or the other. It's definitely no happy medium with that. But it's true,
but
though.
It would be like, it's true, people put more effort into buying useless crap than they do into, like, fixing problems.
Yes, and that's a good example, though. Any iPhone release worldwide or anything for like a PS4 super like when with the PS3 when the Metal Gear Solid Edition came out, where you could pre-order that had a decent line, but it was a lot of places. It wasn't that big of a line. So you take that plus an iPhone release, multiply it by a factor of 10, and it's the weirdest thing too, because if you really look at it, we go back to the whole zombie apocalypse thing. You got a barricaded store with workers inside fearing for their life sometimes, most of the time.
Oh, yeah. It's scary.
You got police really taping certain areas off and keeping you out. But where the people are is huge droves of people, plus makeshift tents and living environments.
Yep.
So when they flood in, it looks like, man, a survivor was holding out here and just didn't make it. He just didn't make it. Yeah. It's just like, it's really, like, all it's missing is, like, burning debris and gunshots repeatedly to try and stop the zombie horde from that just broke in. It's really sad, but also kind of fascinating, because it's especially here in the States, because we do Thanksgiving, or at least we do it at this time. I think some countries have something similar at different points of the year.
Yeah, something like that.
But it's literally, let's have a meal. Well, let's believe in the family values and enjoy each other's company and be thankful for what we got. Is that done and good? All right, we're going to claw over those people to get that deal. Ready, set, break.
Okay, all right. Now, bless us this day, for we are thankful we have friends, family, a roof over our head, and a bountiful meal that we can share. All right, our lives suck because we don't have that TV. Let's go buy it.
Basically. And, like, that's the biggest thing. And it's just, Black Friday aside, it's not that I'm like, I believe in the sanctity of holidays being holidays. I believe in stop being a holiday bully, Christmas. You're a holiday bully. You're in December. Stay in December.
Yep. And honestly, at this point, I'm just waiting for Black Friday to become Black Friday week and just have the sales start on Sunday.
You know what?
Like, that's what's going to end up happening is that that is how the whole Black Friday thing is going to end. Because this year it happened, a lot of stores had Black Friday deals on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so that's probably what's just going to end up happening is Thursday will become a holiday again, and every store will be open in normal hours because it's going to be a week-long Black Friday ad.
And to be honest, to be fair, it does kind of take away almost the mystical feel of a Black Friday, all these deals once a year, and that's it, literally once a year, back when it used to be that. But it's the only way to alleviate congestion and trampling is to do it that way.
And it's the only way to get rid of this whole, how dare retail employees work on Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. Which, to be honest, as a retail employee, I'm not happy about it. I would have rather been home eating some turkey and some stuffing I missed out. But at the same time, I don't mind it as long as the people that are shopping there aren't like animals.
Exactly.
And the worst part is just that it's a boring day because it's a boring day for me because it's just, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? And it's just, it's there, it's there, it's there. So I'm doing nothing to pass the time.
Right. And to be fair, that I don't want to say it's just retail employees. Like I don't want to say like, oh, you're just a retail employee, so it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that, but I mean, they're not the only people who work on Thanksgiving. You got emergency personnel. You got like a lot of
television
things.
Broadcasters, sports broadcasters.
You got a lot of things to work on that day. So I
think the issue is like my mom put it in one way, in a sense, where it's the principle of the tradition. Traditionally, retailers are closed on Thanksgiving, and that's how it's always been.
And it should be, really.
And to a degree, there's some people are arguing, well, to be honest, the in a sense, I guess what some people are upset about is that there's really no need for a retail store to be open on Thanksgiving. There's no
that's
need
completely true.
for that to be happening. It's still, the people who have to work, like hospital employees, firemen and all that, they have to, and not saying, again, though, is that's a service I'm grateful is out there on that day. Like, if I get into a car accident because someone got drunk on Thanksgiving and is driving around going, woo, I got a 4-day weekend, I'm grateful for that person who gave up his day so I may live that
it's
day.
true. You're 100% correct, and to be honest, retail employees should have Thanksgiving off, especially if they're going to try and make it, or if they ever try to push it back to a one-day thing. So it's time to say goodbye to your family, because you might not make it back after.
Yeah.
But, like...
There are a couple of times, like, Elena has been like, I don't know if I'm going to see him again because people are crazy on that day.
Yeah, and to be honest, the Black Friday is the closest we really get to. Think of all the good the Purge does.
Yeah.
It's the closest.
It's the only time something Michael Bay did is actually accurate.
It's the closest we get to the Purge. It really is. The only thing that needs to be different is remove law. I mean, it sounds like a really big step, but people are already willing to trample people. It's really not that big of a step. Friday.
There was like a good 5 or 6 car accidents on the road by my house. And we're like, man, there's so many car accidents. I'm like, that's because they're sitting there going, that's such a good deal! And they see the sign for the store, but they don't realize there's a divider there, and they just turn into a divider. Or they just crash into another car because they think they're Batman.
Right? I mean, and everybody's Batman. If you were, you wouldn't be shopping for Black Friday deals because you'd be independently wealthy and never have to shop for Black Friday.
Yes.
But it's just... Black Friday got out of hand. It still is something that's stupidly out of hand for people. If they got to mature up and just be, civil about it. But it all stems from the bully of Christmas is a bully when it comes to having its own time.
Yep, and the places that benefit the most from it are masters at bullying it onto us.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like to be fair. The nice thing I like about the hobbies that I'm into and the stuff that I enjoy, which is not just miniature wargaming, I'm also a big fan of cars and whatnot, you're not going to have the same push of the Purge level mentality because, Black Friday doesn't affect wargaming that much in comparison.
Yeah,
or cars. You're not going to have 50 million people go, that's such a good deal on a car, it's ridiculously expensive anyway.
I saw a Hyundai dealer, I think it was, giving away a 70-inch Samsung TV if you bought a car with them today, on Friday.
Yeah, there's some places that do ridiculous deals. Like, there's a car dealership near me that before leading up to Thanksgiving, if you got a car, you got a free turkey. They'll do anything as a gimmick, really, to get you in there and buy it. But still,
I was just sitting there going, who's sitting there going, we got to get a car because we get a TV with it?
Right, it's just an added perk to come in that day, really. But if you think about it too, it's like, okay, let's just say it's a $10,000 TV. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
And let's say that you got 0% APR and they took $10,000 off the price of the car. It's still a $45,000 car. People aren't going to come in droves, Yeah. Hyundai is not so much. Hyundai is cheaper. Yeah. But my point is, it's still multi-thousands.
Yeah. Unless you're buying, my car, which was, under $20,000, it's not worth it.
Right. But it's just there's never going to be a drove of people to get a car. I mean, you'll get... Yeah. They get crowded sometimes, but it's never going to be Walmart level of trample you to death
Walmart,
to get a car.
Best Buy, Target, Kmart.
And with wargamer nerds, we're just as content to order it offline. So
yep, Cyber Monday.
And where is that really? I mean, these retailers are doing all this stuff week long, I think, because they're trying to compete with the almost impossible competition of the ridiculous cyber deals.
Yeah.
Some of these deals are ridiculous.
Which is a nightmare for FedEx and UPS employees because... if they get an average of 200 shipments a day, on Cyber Monday that quadruples into the thousands, and they're just oh my god!
Oh yeah, no, it's absolute havoc on delivery companies. But the thing is, Cyber Mondays is a thing, but they also do the thing that the internet does that's kind of nefarious to Black Friday, if we're gonna use those terms, is
Yeah.
They don't just have Cyber Monday. They go, well, it's Black Friday? We got Black Friday. Oh, we got deals leading up to Black Friday.
Yep.
And it's just
look at Valve and Steam. They had Black Friday deals on Monday, then on Wednesday, then Thursday. Ooh, a free themed gift box with every order of $150. Sorry, I'm just looking at the free gift stuff on GW's thing.
Yeah. It's a cool little gift box, but like in Amazon has stuff throughout the entire year, and now they have their Cyber Monday deals on top of it, and it's just they always have deals throughout the year, and then they had one throughout the week. That's what I was trying to say.
Small format codexes? What are these?
They're tinier codex. It's basically pointless.
They're tiny codexes at the price of a full-size codex.
No, they're cheaper than a regular full-size codex. The price of old full-size codexes.
Slightly. They're slightly. Only slightly.
Yeah.
Only slightly.
But like,
and there's rumor that we're going to be getting paper ones soon, too.
Sure. I'll believe that when I see it. But
yeah.
These deals, man, online really are hard to beat because they don't have to worry about any... and I just say they don't have to worry about anything, but they have a lot less to worry about as a retailer.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they don't have to deal with people going, let us in.
Yeah. And
going for your heart, going, Kalima!
Cover your heart!
Kalima!
But it is a ridiculous thing. I don't know if anybody went out and actually shopped on Black Friday. Put your experience in the comments.
Yeah. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it in between?
And did you see anything ridiculous? Because I read one thing that was absolutely ridiculous and really immature, where a lady was trying to shop for like a child item, when another lady was getting the item, so they were arguing, and then the one lady spit in the other lady's child's face.
What?
They were trying to shop for like a kid item, and they both had their kids with them or whatever, because they got to shop. And they were arguing, so one of the ladies spit into the child's face of the other lady.
That is just... what?
Exactly. So has anybody experienced something like that, which is absolutely terrible and unforgivable? What did the child do to you?
I hate to sound like Peoples, but what?
Right? Like I could have not that it would have been any better, but if you spit in the mother's face, it's not acceptable.
No,
but
nothing is acceptable. There's no part of this situation that makes any of that acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable, but it would have been infinitely better than spitting in a kid's face.
Yes, okay, I'll give you that, but no, you never go that far.
No, you
That's
don't.
As dumb as the person who got shot because he wouldn't give up his money because he wanted that PS4 so badly.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of dumb things, but and violence and getting shot and killing people, that's the worst of the worst, but to be so low of a person to spit into a kid's face. The kid wasn't trying anything on you.
The kid was forced to be there because the mother can't afford a babysitter.
It's not like the kid pulled a knife and you try to distract the kid. It's not like you were. It's not like that. Like you don't bring the child into it. If you want to be a lesser person and if you want to be the terrible person in the situation, do it to the parent. Don't do it to the kid, and it's still not excusable. It's still terrible.
I just lost a little bit of respect for humanity right now.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised you had much to begin with. But my point is, for fearless gamers
I still had faith that there was some good in people.
There are sometimes. It's just not on Black Friday.
Not during Christmas.
Not during the season of cheer.
During the season of cheer and love for your fellow man, there's no hope for humanity.
Just think of all the good the Purge does.
Yes, because it works.
Yeah. So if any fearless gamers have had a particularly unique experience, if they were Black Friday shopping and they want to, share it, feel free in the comments. We want to know, was it wargaming related? Because that would be silly and something I would find funny.
And also, on top of that, any good deals / what are your thoughts on the new Star Wars trailer? Teaser.
Yes. Are there any good deals in that Star Wars teaser? No.
Yes. Yes. Buy one trailer, get the second one half off.
Man, that's almost too good to pass up.
And so, with that, hopefully I'll get this up this current week along with last week's, because Black Friday and all that was very hectic. I actually worked hours full time. So,
we make no promises.
Yes, so, until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Vet.
James the Wildcard.
saying take care.
Peace.